Hey guys, Trying Games here, and welcome back to another Elver update video. Now this video is dedicated to the newest update for Elver, which mainly focuses on the new 8 bunkers that Danaby has added to the map. These bunkers are scattered all over the Elverian forest, so you have to go out and search for them. But I'm here to help you guys do that. So without a moment wasted, let's get started. Right here we have Bunker A, the first bunker out of a total of 8. This bunker consists of a ladder going down, so you would obviously want to fortify that with a hatch. Place that down. Perfect. You just scoot down. I think you can, yep, you can close it. And then you got another area to place down a door. Now this is perfect because now you have an airlock, which is now one of the pros of this base. If one of the raiders manages to get through that first door, you might be able to find yourself some time to go get yourself a gun and prepare for a very epic base battle. Then you got another door. Now right here, this would most likely be the loot room where you'd place a lot of lockers down, so just place that. So you can put a large crate in here for a ton of storage. If you do want to be safe, you can just place a bunch of lockers down here. You can also put down another giant pine crate just to like put some low tier materials and stuff. Maybe low tier guns, low tier ammunition. This room will most likely be for your high tier weapons and guns and materials and stuff. So for the raid cost, I will put the number up on screen. It takes around 129 bullets to destroy one door. So the number up on screen is how many bullets exactly from a heat wave it will take to destroy all the doors in this bunker to reach every single room. Now it's time for the pros and cons list. For Bunker A, I think a pro is it's small and compact. It doesn't require a ton of metal to fortify and renovate this bunker. Now for the cons, it is probably somewhat too small. There's only one room where you can actually fit one large pine crate, and the rest of the rooms are kind of more free game if the raiders can get through those 2 doors. Overall, this base is a so-so bunker. It isn't the greatest, but it isn't the worst I've seen so far. But we are just beginning. Now we've got Bunker B. This bunker is actually quite interesting, and I think you guys will definitely like what is inside. So we first enter through the first doorway. So I'll slap a door on that for safety. And then as you see, this floor is kind of flooded a little bit. So what we can do is we just place down another door here and another door right here. And then you can go up here as well and place another door like that. So the reason I placed the door down here is because you can actually go through here like another little exit and stuff. And it has a pond. What's even more amazing is you can actually fish out of this. I managed to catch a fish from here. So if you can get yourself a Mark II or 3 fishing rod, you can pretty much just hang out here fishing for high value components and stuff and get a ton of good loot. Now over here we have this room right here. This can either be used as a loot room, but its main purpose is to grow crops. Right here. You can grow carrots, cloth, because cloth is actually kind of hard to just collect naturally on Elver. So if you have your own little cloth farm, you can make yourselves all the dressings you will ever need. Then here, wait, let's place a door down right here. Then we got this room. This room could be used as maybe a weapons room. You can put a ton of racks for your high tier guns. Place the door on there. Also here. And then you got this room. This little room right here. It's similar to a loot room. So what we can do is you can place down our last door. Open that up. Take a wooden crate and just fit one in. And yep, right here. And you have a ton of storage. And it's secured behind a door, which is super cool. So far this thing offers so much. So for the raid cost, I will put it up on screen. This is the cost to raid all the doors to get to every single room. there are some doors you can actually bypass to get to certain rooms, like for example the door in the water you don't need to break open since you already broke open one door already. Same with that long room. It's definitely going to be a hefty amount of bullets, so you better come prepared when taking on this hefty bunker. Now I think the pros and cons of this bunker are as follows. The pros, in my opinion, right now is it has a fishing spot. You can plant crops. It has a bunch of different rooms that can be used for different purposes. Like that crop room doesn't need to even be used for crops. It can just be used as a bigger storage. Same with that other skinny room that could be turned into not even a weapons room, just a normal storage room with lockers. The cons, it costs 40 metal to fortify this entire base. So that's quite a lot of metal. That's around 10 cans of metal. So you're going to be either mining or gathering for a little bit before you can move into here. But other than that, I do not see that many cons in the first place. My overall opinion on this bunker, it's a pretty good bunker. In my opinion, it's a really decent bunker. Has a ton of things to offer. I like it a lot. Anyways, let's go off to Bunker C. Welcome to Bunker C. This bunker is pretty interesting because it actually has two entrances. One right here and another one across over here. Let's just go inside. Let's put down one door. And then here we got a neat little room. And I'm pretty sure you can put a thick pine crate right here. Look at that. Of course, you have to fortify this. Put another door here. As well as right here. And a good thing about this is it has its own little metal mine. So if you're ever running low on metal, you can just hang out here for a little bit and just mine the nodes. Get yourself a good amount of metal, build stronger lockers, all of that cool stuff. So we will definitely want to, and this can also be used as another storage area if we want to. Like for example, right now we could just put more large pine crates down, or maybe even lockers in like these little areas. So just in case, we're gonna put some garage door here, as well as some bulletproof glass, because we do not want any of those pesky raiders getting in. Then we got another loot room. This can fit at least a good amount of crates if we check. And I think you might be able to even squeeze in a couple more lockers right here. So this can fit a really good amount of storage. So I'll plop down more bulletproof glass, as well as a door. And then we got this room, a nice skinny part where you can put a nice array of lockers across for loot and a bunch of other things like that. Maybe even some crops, a campfire. Who knows what you can do in this room? It's pretty much up to you. So we will definitely put a door down, put a door there, and then a door here, and then our last door here. And now it's all secure. So for the raiding costs, it is gonna be this number up on screen. So a really good amount of bullets to actually get to access to every single room. Now this base has a good pro, because since it requires so much ammo, a lot of players might feel a little bit deterred to go, and it could cost them a fortune if they hit the wrong room where your main loot is not located. So the pros and cons. The pros, this base has a good amount of rooms, and you can store a good healthy amount of loot within this bunker. Another pro, it has its own metal mine, so it can take some of that stress off your back if you're wondering how you're going to get fortify the entire bunker. Alright, now cons. This base takes a lot of metal to fortify. It's a really high cost to actually maintain this base, putting down a ton of doors and stuff, especially the bulletproof glass. So you either better have a lot of resources for this base, or you better be ready to camp at your metal mine for a while. My opinions on this base, I think it is alright. It is a slightly above average base because of its metal mine, as well as its overall strength, it looks like. But I don't like the astronomical cost of metal you might need to spend to actually fully fortify this thing. That is just my opinion. Anyway, let's move on to Bunker D. Now located in the rich wheat fields of Farm is the Bunker D. Bunker D is a simple bunker, I would like to call it, only containing technically 2 rooms, this room outside and this room inside. Has enough space to put, here, let's put down the doors first. So we can just put down door number 1. There we go. And then you need to put down 2 doors to secure this. And this base is kind of cozy. You still have a huge amount of storage, and you also have enough living space to put down maybe a bedroll or 2, a campfire if you want to cook or anything, maybe even a small crop plot or planter out here to grow some food. Now I'll put the amount of bullets you'll need to actually get access to the loot room. So you have to go through around 2 doors since the other door leads to the exact same place. Now to begin the pros and cons. So the pros of this base would seem to be its cost. It's only costing 15 metal to actually call your home. It does its job. It keeps you away, keeps you out of the elements and the raiders and stuff. Now the cons. The con is there's only 2 doors separating the raider from your loot. There isn't too much protection between here and here, only requiring just enough bullets to actually get through. They can get access to your loot and you can just lose everything. Now my opinion on the bunker, I would only seem to use it if I'm trying to get the sacrificial scripture in a new Elver server, because this base would most likely keep my loot safe for now, but it would not be a very suitable permanent living quarters because it's just too small. It's too easy to raid. I would only use it for early game, maybe a little bit mid game, but that wouldn't last too long. Alright, now we're at Bunker E. This bunker is quite a unique one because this one allows you to store your vehicles. So let's just say you find a Woogie or some sort of race car type car, and you can just store it in here if you don't want it to be stolen. So this base it only has 1 room. Only this room can only be just habitable, unless you want to, sit out here, which I don't think is a good idea. And this base takes quite a bit, around to place two garages right there. Then you have 2 doors to place down, right here, right there. Then you come down here, then you have to do that again. Another door, another door, and then the garage doors right there and right there. Now this area is pretty huge. You can definitely store a ton of like these wooden crates, like here, here, just a whole bunch of storage. And yes, you can store your vehicle in here too, like I said before. So I will put the rating cost up on screen right now. It's quite cheap to go through since you need to put down so many doors and you only need to go through 2 to actually reach it to the main loot room. Now moving on to the pros and cons of Bunker E. So to start with the pros, I would say that a pro is it can store cars, because so far none of the bunkers we looked at could actually store cars nor have a driveway to allow you to do that. Another pro, it has a really good amount of space, so you can place down a ton of those giant wooden crates or a bunch of lockers and stuff to keep your loot safe and secure. Now moving on to the cons. The cons are that it takes a lot to fortify. It takes a good amount of metal to actually make this thing secure. Make sure people actually have to use resources or a lot of resources to actually get through. Another con is there's only 2 doors keeping your enemy away from the loot room. This is just like Bunker D, but more expensive, and it can store cars. I'm not saying I'm trashing on this place, but it doesn't exactly have the most secure way of keeping raiders out. So my opinion on Bunker E is I think it's cool that you can store vehicles, but usually in Elver you just kind of walk around. Since it's a small map, vehicles can attract a lot of unwanted attention and can get easily shot at and get you killed. And even if you have a vehicle, it will take a good amount of metal to actually make this place secure, to actually store your vehicles safely, to store your loot safely and everything. I would see this maybe being like a garage, like just only a garage, like maybe having another bunker somewhere else and using this for only a garage maybe, or like a backup emergency loot room maybe. But overall I wouldn't personally make it my own living space. Now we are at Bunker F. This bunker is actually quite interesting, and I'll show you why in a little bit. But for now, let's fortify it. Put a garage door there. Now we're all secure. We just go through this little rock formation right here. You even have your own little metal node right there. And we have a door. We can place that down. And then we just have this humongous space to do whatever we want with. But you might be wondering, like, Trident, why do we want to stay in a bunker where the raider has to only go through 2 doors to get to our main loot? Well, that's a good question, and I will show you. You can build in here. You can pretty much construct your own house inside a bunker, which gives you even more security. Yeah, it costs more metal, but I mean, you've never seen anything this secure ever. Like, this is underground. Nothing can touch it unless they go through those doors. Put the wall there. Put a crate even in here. Then you can just put a doorway. Secure it. Put the crate back. So you have your own little, like, loot locker thing. And you could put even another one next to it, I think. See, like, look right here. You can put 2 crates inside fortified areas. That's why this bunker actually went from, like, D tier to, like, a complete B or A. Because of just, like, imagine what you can do in here. Just let your imagination run wild. I will put the cost of ammunition up on the screen right now. This is to get through both doors to that big area. But in that big area, it can differ whether someone builds a base in there or not. So I have no control over that. But this number shows the amount of ammunition from a heat wave it takes to actually get through these 2 doors. So let's start with pros and cons. So the pros of this bunker are its sheer size, because this can be used in more of a endgame server where you have a ton of metal. You can just make an entire base inside this bunker, and it'll be so much harder to raid with like tank shells and stuff. Like the enemy, like the raider, would have to move to plastic explosives and a bunch of heat waves. Another pro is that it doesn't cost too much to fortify. Doesn't cost too much to fortify the actual entrance and then like the big area. Alright, so the cons, it can be pretty expensive to actually make the base more strong, because usually you would want to, in endgame, you would want to prefer crystal or a bunch of metal barricades and stuff. That's what you want to prioritize in this bunker, and that stuff can get really expensive. Another con is there aren't enough doorways to actually prevent your enemy from reaching that room. So if you don't have a base inside, they can just easily go bang, bang, and that's it. So welcome to Bunker G. So let's fortify with our first door. Now this bunker is actually quite unique, because instead of having a door lead to a room, which might split off into another 2 larger rooms or a larger room, instead it's a staircase that goes all the way down. So Place the door right there. Here. Another room. Another room. Another room. Another room. Tons of rooms here. You can place crates in here and seal it off. And it's all secure. So all the way up, there are just a bunch of rooms. So the rating cost of this bunker, I will put up on screen right now. This is for all the doors that you have to access. So you have to go through this first door and to tear open every single door to get access to every single room. Now the pros and cons of Bunker G. Let's start with the pros. So I would say a pro about this is it is a high risk, high reward. That kind of goes hand in hand. Because since it's a high reward, I say it is a high reward because all the rooms in the bunkers could act as decoy loot rooms. So you can actually keep your normal loot safe and away from like raiders who try to guess which room you sorted in. Now the cons. The cons are it is high risk because they could easily just knock one door down and get access to your loot room immediately by luck. It can happen sometimes. Another con is it costs a good amount of metal to secure every single room. Welcome to Bunker H. This bunker is the last bunker out of all of the 8 that we explored. And this one is pretty interesting. So if we go around, it is just this giant octagon looking hallway. And then it leads us to this room where we could put a nice comfy storage crate right here. And you even have enough room for a bedroll, so maybe some food, a couple lockers if you want to keep some special loot really secure. And then we can just slap that bad boy behind a door. Now, it looks like this base is pretty weak, like it has nothing to offer because it only has 2 doors. So these little slots actually allow you to place pillars right here, right here. You can even, and then you can place yourself a doorway and then a door. So throughout this entire thing, all around here, you can place a ton and a ton of the doorway, of a bunch of the doorways and doors, and have a really hefty base. Now for the raid costs. So the cost to actually raid this base without any of the extra like protection that we put on, like the pillars and the doorway and door and stuff, it would be this number. But if you were to place a bunch of pillars, a bunch of doorways, and then doors in addition with the doors that we already have, it would take the raider would have to go through around 5 doors to get to the main loot room, which would cost this amount of ammo. So depending on how you make the base, you can make the raider either make it easy for them or make it the absolute most horrendous raid of their life. Now I'm going to focus on the pros and cons for Bunker H. So for the pros, I would say that this bunker can be pretty strong depending on how much metal you have. If you have all the metal in the world, it can be quite a hefty base to raid. It can probably make the raider cry when he saw how many doors there were. Now the con is the cost to actually make it worthwhile. Just by putting those 2 doors down, it's very vulnerable to being easily raided, and usually you want to make the base strong, so we really want to prioritize putting down as many of those doorways, pillars, and doors as possible. Now my opinion on this bunker is I would most likely use it for either near end game to end game, cause just the cost of it just takes a lot of resources to actually fortify. But if you do have the resources, it can be pretty difficult to raid. But this is not the #1 bunker I would live in. Now we just conclude the bunkers, but there's still a little bit more to this update. Danaby added a new flooring, which is like floor bars. You can shoot through them. You can do all that stuff. Pretty nice. And then we got paintings. This art was featured by Animatic Freak, Sir Andy, and Danaby. So let's just take a nice look at what we're about to see. So we got all this pretty cool art. So we got this one. I think it's based on like some sort of familiar art style. I can't remember what it is, but I remember seeing it in seeing this in like art class. Not this specifically, but this sort of style. This is pretty neat. I can't remember what's it called. It's called Man? Question mark. You just place that down. Absolutely stunning. Then we got this, which is Elverian Cultist, which shows poor baby and then a cultist behind him. And then we got a funny cat, which is called Self. Quite deep, I must say. And then here we got a portrait called The Lunar Silence. Showcases, I guess, like a background kind of. This most likely Elver. That might be like a player with night vision maybe. And then there's just the giant full moon. And then there's most likely a zombie with red eyes staring right at the painting. Or right at the person looking at the painting. Lots of cool stuff. Thank you so much, guys, for featuring the art. Now, unfortunately, we are getting close to the final update for Elver. Kinda sad. I'm pretty sad about it. This map changed me so much, and I just love this map, and it's kinda sad to see it about to not get updated anymore. But this does mean one thing. It means that Danaby will prioritize on some other project, and that could possibly be a map that might even be like Elver, or might even be better. But that is just a theory. A game theory. Danaby did say though, for the final update, it is gonna be a pretty hefty update, a pretty large update. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This video took quite a while. I started recording around 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. Right now it's like 5:30 p.m. by the time I'm finishing up this outro. So if you really want to help me out, liking and subscribing would definitely be super helpful. It tells me I'm doing a good job. Also, it helps the channel grow within the Unturned community, which I love to see. I also hope this update video helped you out in deciding what place you want to live in Elver. I really hope it does. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and bye!